Hello, everyone, and welcome to C-Ship 5th free webinar series edition. Thank you very much for joining us today to explore the topic of CCIs as drivers of entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity while building local infrastructures of solidarity and resilience. This webinar is organized by C-Ship and powered by the Creative Pact for Skills. Before we start, I would like to dedicate a quick moment for housekeeping. Please keep your microphones muted during the presentations, and you are welcome to use the chat box throughout the webinar. The webinar will be recorded, so please feel free to keep your camera on or off. The last 20 minutes is dedicated to a Q&A. If you wish to interact with the speakers during the Q&A slot, please raise your hand and unmute yourself. In the next 5 minutes, I'll briefly present C-Ship and introduce our three bright speakers. So I'll be sharing my screen. So C-Ship provides action learning, training, and awareness raising specifically on cultural entrepreneurship. It's designed for professionals in the cultural and creative industries and aspirants. It addresses particularly professionals from the visual and performing arts, cultural heritage professionals, cultural institutions and museums, film and audiovisual production, and design. Practically, the training program is designed to guide CCIs, professionals, and/or aspirants towards starting an entrepreneurial journey, ensure their financial viability, develop their strengths and their management skills for sustainable, thriving, and resilient projects while maximizing their societal contribution. This, our fourth edition is actually a common effort between C-Ship and the Working Group on Entrepreneurial Skills of the Creative Pact for Skills. The first webinar addressed cultural and creative sectors, competitiveness versus ecosystem partnerships, and was in collaboration with Uni Pegasus University. You can rewatch the recording on C-Ship's LinkedIn page. Today, we will discuss CCIs as drivers of entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity while building local infrastructures of solidarity and resilience. The third webinar will be on gendered perspectives, and the fourth will tackle the role of intermediaries. Our three bright speakers, starting with Külli Hansen, who is the head of Tartu Center for Creative Industries and Tartu Film Fund. As a creative entrepreneur, her mission is to support creative professionals on their entrepreneurial journey. She has a background as creative professional, lecturer at a business school, and cultural policy maker, as well as additional expertise as the business coach and supervisor, which allows her to act as a bridge between creative professionals and various other parties. She values cooperation and believes in solutions that are born from collaboration. Our second speaker today is Cinzia Lagioia. She's the director of Puglia Creativa Cluster Association. She has proven experience in the design and management of projects financed by European structural funds and European territorial cooperation programs. She's also a senior consultant and teacher for strategic planning of local development in a systemic perspective in the fields of culture and creativity, environment, and legality. Our third speaker today is Gaillard, who is a bespoke furniture artisan. He combines traditional craftsmanship with digital cutting technologies to create unique solutions tailored to the specific needs of each project. He is based at Microfactory. He collaborates regularly with other businesses and disciplines, and he is also a board member of Microfactory, of which he will be speaking today. So welcome everyone. Without further ado, I would like to give you now the floor, Külli, to explain to us how CCIs can drive entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity while contributing to the proximity economy in Tartu. So I'll be sharing your presentation. Close session's presentation. And the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. I have 15 minutes, yes. Yes, it just does. Okay, I am Külli Hansen. I am from Tartu Center for Creative Industries. And I was asked also to introduce you this term of proximity economy and its connections to culture, because in November last year, I attended a conference which was organized by European Commission in Budapest, and there was proximity economy, one of the topics, and it was really interesting for me. So next slide, please. And that for today, I was looking over some researches, and maybe if you are interested in this term, then the study from last year, report on socio-economic performance of the EU proximity economy, came out, and it fosters collaboration, innovation, and sustainability across regions. It's pretty interesting. I really suggest to read it. And also the other thing which is interesting is the EU platform for EU proximity and social economy. And it gives a good overview of the case studies and also what different regions and countries of EU have done so far. But as I saw, there are very much about social economy and not so much about culture and creative industries. Next slide, please. And if we look at what is the definition of proximity economy, then it's described as follows. It's the human-centric ecosystem that focuses on the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services within short value chains, driven by local social interactions. And this approach contrasts with globalized economies that prioritize distance sourcing and production, aiming instead for a more localized and community-oriented economic model. And I think that's really interesting, and it's very relevant for culture and for our sector. Next slide, please. And what are the key aspects and benefits that are seen? It's local production and consumption, job creation, strengthening community ties, and innovation and collaboration. And for me, this part is really interesting because it fosters collaboration among local businesses, educational institutions, and government entities. And it can be also a source for us, for creative sector, to think to whom make collaboration, like really with educational institutions. It's important in my mind. And then sustainability. Cultural and creative sector already is quite sustainable, and creative people take it like more in hearts what's going on in our planet, but it's brought out here also as a benefit, this sustainability aspect. And the next slide. Then there are some more aspects. Resilience to global shocks. I think it's really important these days that communities that are less reliant on global supply chains may be better positioned to withstand economic shocks, such as those caused by pandemics or geopolitical conflicts. And there is also cultural preservation, so that supporting local businesses and artisans can help preserve cultural heritage and traditions, as these entities often reflect the unique identity of the community. And again, the community centeredness and cultural heritage, cultural differences, I think it's something we need to turn really more attention. And then technology and digital platforms, and which is our future, advances in technology, e-commerce, digital marketplaces, facilitate local transactions, making it easier for consumers to discover and support nearby businesses. And next slide, please. And what mostly maybe people have heard about this 15-minute city, where everything is very close. And the idea of this concept is that it's an urban planning concept that aims to create cities where residents can access most of their daily needs, such as work, shopping, healthcare, and leisure, within a 15-minute walk or bike ride from their homes, promoting sustainability, community, and high quality of life. And for me, it's you can take the next slide. And if I found also one aspect or thought brought out connections between proximity and CCIs, but there are not very many researches or studies made on it. But in general, it drives economic growth, fosters innovation across sectors, enriches cultural vibrancy, promotes social cohesion, and supports urban regeneration. And next slide. So in keeping all this in my mind, I just try to think and what can be examples from Estonia, from our center. And I found out that actually what we do is very much connected to proximity economy as the main goal of Tartu Center for Creative Industries is to support local creative people and creative businesses, and to really support to help them either to create new businesses or to help them to be visible with joint marketing, or support them in going global, and at the same time, having this idea of short supply chains and closeness and communities. And we offer incubation and acceleration programs for creative people and creative companies. We run a design gallery, which is representing local designers, and also gives information of all kinds of services, including green and sustainable services like repairing and upcycling and recycling services to local people. And it's not like just a shop, but it's like an embassy of local designers. And it's really meant from local to the local people, and also as an embassy of Estonian design to tourists and to guests of the city. And we organize festivals and events, and the aims of it is also to support creative people and businesses in the way that suits them the most. And next slide, please. And here is one example of Estonian Fashion Festival, which I think it's pretty interesting because it's founded by 3 different organizations. One is our center, and we are a business support center. And there are also 2 universities, Pallas University of Applied Sciences and Viljandi Academy of Culture. And each of us, we have our own fashion show, and one of them presents really students of the university. The second one presents traditional crafts in a modern way, and our fashion show is more about ready-to-make fashion and helping young fashion designers to be more visible and to help them to go global. And we all together, we cover like all the aspects of development of young fashion designer, from the students to the emerging fashion designers. And I guess it's really a good case study of both cooperation between universities and also incubation program for fashion designers. And next slide, please. And what we have also done together with universities is that we have initiated art auctions for young artists. And it has been in life already more than 10 years. And we started with very low prices, like €100 per artworks. And in the beginning, it was really cheap prices for art investors. And now it's going to be more popular. So last year, the prices went up to €10,000 per one art piece. And there are only young artists. They are pretty unknown, but it's now popular to buy young art. And there is a whole new generation of art investors thanks to this art auction. So what we have done thus is we have supported young artists. We have promoted them, made them more well-known to the audience, and we have developed the whole new generation of art collectors. And I guess that's really serves this idea of proximity economy, that you bring culture and make it present and make it visible, especially those who are younger. They usually hope that if they make an e-shop, then they are visible, but nobody finds them. And such kind of organizations who represent small micro-entrepreneurs are really needed. Yeah, and I guess that's very quickly everything I wanted to present you. And here are some links that if you are interested, you can really go and see those researches and this webpage by yourself.
Thank you very much, Külli. Yeah. Actually, I will be sharing these two links in the chat in a second. Thank you very much for introducing the topic of proximity economy and for highlighting that although cultural, especially creative industries, are contributing a lot to creating this infrastructure of local proximity economy, there are not a lot of publications or reports showcasing best practices. So yes. It was of particular interest the fact that you presented a concrete example of how you are trying to shed the light on emerging artists and provide them stage and voice in order to develop their capacities, but also you're at the same time developing the young investors as well to understand and value the emergent artists' value creation. So thank you very much for this contribution, which actually links very well with your contribution, Cinzia, on how you manage to build a local infrastructure of solidarity and resilience in the Puglia region. So we would like to learn also about your experience now.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ruba. Thank you very much for the invitation. I share my screen, just a minute. Can you see it? Yes, okay. Just quickly presentation of my organization and place in which we are, the region in which we are. We are in Puglia, in south of Italy, and we are a cluster recognized by our region more than 10 years ago, according to a regional law on production district. We are the cluster focus on cultural creative economy in Italy. We represent more than 100 cultural creative enterprise based in Puglia, and our network is also composed by university, by public and private institution and research center, a trade association. We are a multi-sectorial, sorry, just a minute, a multi-sectorial cluster because we collect together companies that work in the field of performing arts, in cultural industry that for us are the audiovisual and publishing chain, heritage, creative industry, architecture, design, and communication agency. And then we have also a sector that we call creative driven. There are all the services, consultant and services that support the growth of these companies. Okay, just 1 hour, remember. We work to give a unique voice to the variety of Apulian cluster, Apulian enterprise company, which are too micro, too fragmented to face the challenges of the future, innovation, internationalization, and professional development. Our strategy is focused on two pillars. We pursue a systematic interaction between a policy level at European, national, and regional level. We work to include the cultural creative enterprise into relevant national and regional strategies to promote the flourishing of the ecosystem and of our productive sector. In this moment, we are fully committed with our region to reach the main goal of the regional strategy 21-27 for the sector, but not only for the sector, because it is for the economic development, environmental regeneration, cultural regeneration, and social inclusion. One of the pillar of our regional strategy is to establish a cultural regional welfare. For this aim, in this context, our region developed a manifesto for a cultural regional welfare that was subscribed last year. And that give culture a new role, a strategic role, and unprecedented functions for the protection of the social and community heritage. That is a new concept that it is very interesting, not only the heritage, but the social and community heritage, the strengthening of shared collective memory, and the enhancement of identity of territories and communities. The manifesto recognizes the investment on cultural activities, and above all, the active cultural participation as factor to foster life skills, development of social value and social capital, the valorization and inclusion of differences, the enhancement of critical learning, and the promotion of resilience, combating burnout and stress management. Cultural welfare is considered as new integrating model to promote well-being and health of individuals and community. So the manifesto declines 9 public policy objectives, new strategic public policy objective, very interesting. The culture that heals the well-being of people, the culture that rescues, fighting against educational poverty, the generative culture, the culture for the regeneration of city and growth of community, culture without barriers, of course, accessibility, and accessibility culture, culture creative value. And here is a concept that want to stress above all the need of a sustainability cultural venues, the culture that change social innovation processes and a multidisciplinary approach, the culture that welcomes, of course, the integration of all those who are on the margins of our community, culture for legality, the fight against deviance, illegality, and mafia, and culture for the peace, processes of intercultural exchange and peacemaking that never than before is needed in this moment. So these are the public policy objectives declines in the manifesto. Considering these objectives, the stakeholders that submitted the manifesto and that are all the principal cultural institution and the cultural organization that work in our region are mutually committed to in some achievements. First of all, produce and deliver a cultural offer that is able to generate inclusiveness, full accessibility, social impact, and well-being, combating educational poverty, cultural integration, combating all forms of discrimination, educational legality, combating deviance and mafias and so on. But not only this, the second aim is to promote the participation and artistic expression of people. And of course, we need support to reach this goal. So the stakeholder commit themselves to promote public policies and support the investment for training action, for new professional profiles that combine cultural and social educational services chains. And I think that is a very important strategic action, because we need new professional profiles to reach this type of objective, and to include the artistic expression in services aimed at well-being, with a focus on a specific area of prevention of social isolation and psychical degeneration, therapeutic rehabilitation between medical, socio-medical, and artistic knowledge, and active aging. So these are some of main interest for the stakeholder approach and the stakeholder action. To achieve this goal to achieve, to realize the policy objectives and to reach the result, our region defined 2 action lines that will be implemented from the European Regional Development Fund and public national regional funds. One action is to enhance the role of culture in social inclusion and innovation with an allocation of 48 million euro. And the other one is cultural and creative youth participation initiative for the regeneration and revitalization of cultural heritage and other public space that will become hub for cultural, the new cultural welfare, with an allocation of more than 7 million euro. To support our region in define the right action to achieve this result, Puglia Creativa launched a survey among the Puglian cultural operator to try to understand if there are already some experience in these fields. And the survey shows that cultural welfare experience were numerous and varied. For example, the target, in most cases, the action target are unaccompanied foreign minors, young people in social hardship, migrants, and elderly people. The field, it emerged that many of the experiences are focused on social inclusion, promoting legality, preventing and combating form of violence, and protecting the gender equality. Type of action: training, workshop, festival, events, live performance, but also visits to museum, reading and painting courses, and company internship. The survey showed that main achievements were, for example, strong participation and evident positive physical, emotional, and intellectual results, self-confidence, awareness, activation of social participation for regeneration processes, and the prevention of distress. Just 1 minute to show 2 best practice. One practice is film in hospital, that it is an innovative experimental European project funded by Creativa, in which our member, Il Nuovo Fantarca, is member, that promotes cinema among hospitalized children and teenagers, contributing to an enrichment of hospital time with a painful cultural, psychological well-being. There are currently over 100 hospitals involved. They carry out a platform that contains 152 films, with also video presentation, film cards, and other material to support collective or individual film screening in hospital, that I think that is very fantastic actions, and workshop made directly in the hospital to have fun, created together stories in animation and comics. This is one of the first best practice. And also another best practice is a company, a dance company, Alpha ZDL, founded in Brindisi, and that gives prejudice. They bring art to forbidden space like prison, asylum seeker center, rehabilitation center, communities for people with disabilities, and it is the only dance companies in Italy that have its headquarters inside prison. I think it is a great experience. They involve the inmates in dance production together with the professional dancer. This picture show one of their production. The name of the production is Spettri, and I think that is a very great experience, very great action that put together culture, social innovation, and also proximity economy. So I thank you for your attention, and I hope to have give some insight about this topic.
Thank you very much, Cinzia, for this amazing presentation. Actually, you started by telling us how you managed to make a critical mass of fragmented micro cultural and creative enterprises, but actually you managed also to explain and provide concrete examples of how this critical mass is contributing to the resilience of the entire community, of the entire region, by using culture as a catalyzer, as a change maker, as a culture that heals, that rescues, that regenerates, that eliminates barriers, that creates value, that makes change possible, that welcomes people, a culture of legality and a culture for peace. Thank you very much for the wonderful examples that you shared in terms of how culture is contributing to improving the quality of life of vulnerable communities, and how you're actually contributing to behavior change, not only at policy level, but also at community level. So thank you very much for your presentation. Now I move to you, Artur, because you will also speak about a critical mass, because you will be speaking about how Microfactory works, how it empowers its members, what are the responsibilities, how you strengthen solidarity, and how you create a Brussels-based makers network. So, Artur, the floor is yours. We can't hear you. No, can't hear you.
Is it okay?
Yes, now yes.
Okay, cool. So hi, what I will start by doing is give a general presentation of the microfactory, so a brief description. And then I will tell you about how I started at the microfactory. So because there are many stories here, but I will talk about what I know, and it will give you along the way a practical example of how things work here and what the microfactory empowers people to, and specifically artisans, to do here, and what are the characteristics that makes it a place where artisan makers can strive. And if I have time left, I will give an overview of how we are organized, and really like the structure we have in place here to make everything work. So the first part, so Microfactory is a shared manufacturing workshop. It's based on participation and mutualization. So we share space and machines. We are quite well equipped in terms of woodworking, metalworking machines. We have a very high-end numerical machine, because being together allows us to really like pool resources to better equip ourselves. So it's like a co-working space, but for artisans and maker. And here, everyone contributes their time to ensure that the place runs smoothly. So we have only one employee and 120 members. So basically, every member has to contribute proportionally with the time they spend at the microfactory. So we share space, tool, and knowledge. And there are 6 main divisions: woodworking, metalworking, Fab Lab, so like laser cutting, 3D printing, electronics. We also have a screen printing area and textile, with mostly tufting and sewing. So each of these divisions is fully equipped with a professional machine, and out of the 120 members, around 35 of them are professionals, and they chose the microfactory to base their company and have their workshop. So the microfactory is a non-profit, and there is a board, like a board of director, but it's composed of members that chose to participate more in the day-to-day operation. And also, as I said before, 1 employee to really enable the practical operation, like accounting and making sure things are replied to on time, and many more things. We would be really lost without him. And of course, there are also the 120 members who give it substance and contribute to it, and really like manage all the day-to-day operations. So that's it for the general overview of the microfactory. And now to give you a concrete example of the way things work here. So I will, as I said, give you my example. So I arrived in Brussels right after COVID, and I was supposed to stay here only for a few months. I studied communication before, but I've always been building stuff, and I was really like not happy in the big company I was at. And when I arrived in Brussels, I looked online to see a place where I could continue to build stuff, mostly out of wood. And I discovered microfactory. So I went there for a visit. I found this great workshop. I said, okay, cool, I'm going to subscribe. And I went there and I took a membership. And life did so that I stayed in Brussels and I stayed at the microfactory. And very quickly in this ecosystem, I met other people. And then I was, from one member of the microfactory, I was recommended to work at a carpentry in Brussels. So then I was hired at this carpentry and I worked there for a year, but I kept coming to the microfactory at the same time, doing my own projects. And little by little, after around a year, I had a few clients myself. So I decided to quit my job at the company and start my own company and be in the status is called independent here. So I became independent and I started working out of the microfactory, and really without this structure I couldn't have done that. And there are many people in my case who were able to start because of the microfactory. And I think there are a few key factors as to why the microfactory really enables people to start as artisans and also grow and really like provide a support system for it. So first of all, it's very basic. It considerably reduces the investment needed to start your own activity, because since everything is pooled, the way it works is you pay a membership fee per month, and this fee gives you access to all the space and the machine. So for example, as a carpenter, if I wanted to start, I would have to first rent a space and then buy tens of thousands of euros of machines. Here I come and I pay 250 euro a month, and I have access to everything. So the cost is not even comparable. The other thing is you see examples around you of other people who did it. So maybe if you're a bit hesitant, like, is it possible to launch? Like, can I really like make a living out of it? Well, you come here and you have lots of people who started the company and who make a living and are well, at least the same way happier than when they were employed. So you see, oh, okay, so maybe I can do it too. And then there is the shared knowledge, because I mean, you don't only need machines to start. Where when you start, even if you have a formal training in carpentry, for example, well, there are still some things you learn along the way. And having this support system of 120 members, well, you know that someone will have the expertise you're missing, and it's a constant exchange. It's like, to me, it feels like so I have my company, my projects, but I'm working alongside friends or colleagues every day. So it's really different from most of the artisans you see. They are in their own workshops, a bit isolated, but here you are among peers, let's say. So, and the shared knowledge, it doesn't only stops at like how to do stuff, how to use this machine. It's also like, what are the good suppliers around here? Oh, I had this weird exchange with a client. How would you deal with it? Did you already have that? And legally, can I do that? It's really lots of information and help and support when you have maybe sometimes you doubt, because you're like, oh, I didn't have many clients this month, and you go to other people and they're like, you know, it happens in this period, it's quite complicated during those months. And also all the work it brings, because it can seem a bit weird, but I have never found, I mean, you could think that you know, having so many artisans in one place, there is going to be a lot of competition, and people will maybe fight to get the same clients. But it's quite the opposite, actually. We even have a job board here where people can go to the Microfactory website and say, okay, I'm looking for an artisan to do this and that. And most of the time, what we end up doing is working together. So if it also allows us to answer to big project, because sometimes you have clients that want something that can be done by one artisan. So we do it together, either because it requires different competencies, like for example metal worker and woodworkers, or because the project is just too big. So you know, we associate and then go back alone all the time. So it's like, you know, it's very fluid as a way of organizing, because since we are our own company, we can just, but we are at the same place. We are, okay, let's work together on this, and now I will do my thing, and then we will meet again on that. So it's always a constant flux of exchange, and it's really great. So it's really more of a collaboration than a competition, and we give each other work all the time as well. Like, okay, I have way too much work, and this client is asking me that, just take it. Or for this project, I will need you. Can you work for me for 2 days? And I will, because I need an extra pair of hands for that. So it's really a constant exchange. And I think the way it works like that, it boils down a lot to culture, like the culture of the place. And this is not something we actually sought to establish, like this is our culture. It's more of a set of values that was infused progressively by the people that started the Microfactory and by the member who came here. And we are very lucky to have had so many great members that, you know, like made it the place it is today with those values. And actually at the moment we have been for a few time, but you know, there is no physical materialization of our value and our principle. It's just something that you get to know when you're here. And I think we have the opposite problem of many companies or everything. We have everything, but we need to put it on paper, you know, and to make it more tangible. So I mean, it's a great challenge to have, but it's one nonetheless. What else did I wanted to say? Yeah, I think I can talk to you about the like the organization, exactly how we do. So we have the conseil d'administration, the board, let's say. It sounds a bit corporate, and it's not really the case. It's just members who said, hey, I can be part of the board because I want to be involved in the organization. So the mission of the board is to steer the microfactory in the direction that the members have decided. So a few times a year, we have big meetings where all the members are invited, and we ask all the big questions, like where do we see ourselves there? What is our position on this and that? And the role of the board is to make sure that this is the direction the microfactory goes in. And to handle the more day-to-day operation, there is the cercle, which is like the circle of circle. So we are divided in circles, and one circle handle one specific subject. So the circle of circle is like the place where all the different activities, so woodworking, metalworking, they refer to. That would have been easier with a visual presentation. I'm sorry, but I'm going to do my best to explain with words. This circle of circle is composed, like everything else, of different members, and its role is to centralize all the requests from all the different parts of the microfactory, so the decision can be made in the best interest of the whole thing. And then you have all the different circles. So there is a circle for cleaning the place, and one person is responsible to say to the member of this circle, hey, the bins needs to be emptied, can you do it? The circle for the woodworking workshop is responsible for making sure the workshop is in great working order, that the machines are fixed and everything, and so on and so on. We also have aménagement, like organizing, let's say, to like how to organize the space, the workshop, because it's quite big actually. It's 2,000 square meters, so it needs a lot of management to do that. And all the decision of those circles, well, they are materialized by the actions of the members, because each member has a shift to do, as I said before, proportionally to the time they spend here. So, for example, if your shift is in the cleaning circle, when you know that you have to make sure the place stays clean and you have to spend X hour months doing that. If your shift is to maintain this specific machine, well, you know that this will be your job if machine needs maintenance or whatever. So yeah, I hope it was clear, not sure, but this is the way we work here, and it's not without its challenge, because, for example, at the moment we are trying to find a more permanent workshop, and it's quite hard to find 2,000 square meter in the heart of Brussels, because unfortunately our current landlord is going to raise the rent by 56%, so it's going to be a bit hard to pay. So, you know, it's those kind of moments as well that are really complicated when everything is so decentralized, but it makes us more resilient at the same time. So it's that's it.
Thank you very much, Artur. I think this closes beautifully what the webinar was aiming to achieve, because